December 24th, 2019. Joe here at Simple Life Show. The simplest answers are usually the best. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do all the good social media stuff. You know the drill. It's going to be a really quick video. I just came across this news where famed podcaster Joe Rogan, we all know him, we all love him. We don't always agree with everything everyone says. I think he's a pretty rational person. I think that he talks to a lot of different characters on his show. If you ever watched the Joe Rogan podcast, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't actually seen the Joe Rogan podcast, I would actually recommend at least seeing it at least one episode to kind of get an idea of kind of who that guy is. If you don't know who Joe Rogan is, he played on a lot of TV shows. I believe he played on news radio, I believe, and then he got into the MMA and all that kind of stuff. Now he's doing podcasting. He's still doing MMA type of stuff, but he's a really interesting character. I don't agree with a lot of his politics. I don't agree a lot with his philosophy on his whole life, but I think that he does have a lot of valid points with what he's talking about. Now, why is Joe Rogan making news? Why did Joe Rogan break Twitter today? It is because he has personally endorsed Bernie Sanders. His reasoning for this is because he believes that Bernie Sanders has been very consistent over his entire political career. He has always been talking about the same things, mainly socialism. We all know that. We know that Bernie Sanders is an avowed socialist. He calls it democratic socialism. There's all types of socialism. Socialism only leads down one road. We all know what that is. It is communism. Could that ever work in this country? I don't believe it could, because this country is far too big. It's far too diverse, and our ideologies in this country are really centered towards independence and freedom. Socialism does not really play into the whole independence and freedom. You are a ward of the state, pretty much. You have to keep feeding the machine so other people can survive. Now, since I would consider myself still a Democrat at heart. I'm still a liberal, a classical liberal at heart. I care for everyone. I want everyone to succeed. And the fact that Twitter is having a complete meltdown over this endorsement of Bernie Sanders, it's coming from Bernie supporters, of all places. They don't want Joe Rogan's support. This is how crazy this whole political climate has gotten. They are pretty much having the same type of reaction if David Duke personally endorsed Donald Trump. Now, whether he did or not, I can't remember. I don't think he did. But it's the same type of thing. They are having a complete meltdown. Now, I went to Joe Rogan hashtag, and this is my first time actually seeing this. So we're just going to read a few of these things. From Big Idea Guy, I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan and will continue to listen to his podcast. Does it bother me that he will likely vote for crazy Bernie? No. People have the right to their own opinion. Where do we lose the ability to like people who we disagree with? I completely understand, and I agree with this complete premise that we live in a free country. If Joe Rogan wants to support a socialist, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that good ideas are always going to outlast bad ideas. I think that Bernie Sanders probably has his heart in the right place, but his brain is not in the right place. And that is what's really the problem with a lot of the, I would call them bleeding heart socialists. We all want other people to succeed. We all want other people to live free lives and not die in the streets, as some people would have you believe. That is that is simply not true. Going further here, KRW says a major problem with America is that folks get triggered by celebrity opinions. That's why Trump is president. I think that you can look at that in multiple ways. That, of course, Trump was and still is a celebrity. He had his own reality TV show, and that is why so many people voted for him. I don't think so. I don't think that a whole bunch of people voted for Trump because he's a celebrity. I think people voted for Trump because he's been talking about some of the similar things. Now, was he always a Republican? Was he always a Democrat? I think that people change over time. I have as well. I used to be a Democrat. Now I consider myself more or less an independent, more or less a libertarian, somewhat a conservative on some things as well, and somewhat a Democrat still, and liberal, classical liberal on a lot of other issues. Bobby Dota says, okay, that's just a nonsense comment. But there's a lot of interesting things here. Bernie is the OG. Let me see. This should, I don't know why they can't spell. This should be our only conversation, not reacting to Joe Rogan's nonsense, Bernie Sanders campaign. How can we ensure that we don't see a repeat of 2016? This is from Walter Bragman. I guess this was a response here. Democrats should take note of this. If Bernie Sanders is leading in pledged delegates by the convention and superdelegates swing the nomination to another candidate, it will reelect Donald Trump. We all know this. They are going to be splitting a lot of these votes, and that's why a lot of the times it's really hard to beat the incumbent because no one else is running against the incumbent. The incumbent is running by himself, and so you have a lot of rabid Trump supporters. And I call them rabid because their support has actually grown over the last 3.5 or so years. And it's mainly because of what the Democrats are doing in the House. They are not really caring too much to put forward good legislation. They are just focusing on trying to get the wrong guy out. Lena says here, Joe Rogan is trending because of his support for Bernie, and I can't help but clearly people have never listened to his podcast in order to understand his views. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. A lot of people are calling for Joe Rogan to be canceled, to be erased from social media. Like I said, this is my first time really looking at some of these comments. I think they're kind of funny. I think it's kind of indicative of where the climate is and where people are, where they can't even accept the endorsement of their own candidate by someone else because of some sort of perceived sins of that endorser. I don't know what Joe Rogan has done. I've listened to him. I think he's a funny guy. He's a stand-up comedian. He is very outspoken on his political views. He does not agree with everything that Bernie and the Democrats and liberals, but I would venture to say that if you don't disagree, if you ever find yourself agreeing with 100% of whoever, it doesn't even have to be a celebrity. It could be just anyone in your life. If you agree with them 100%, there is something wrong. There's absolutely something wrong. Then, we are all different. We all come from different spectrums, different backgrounds. We have different points of views on different things. And if you 100% agree with everyone or someone in particular, or a political candidate or a celebrity or something like that, then I would have to say that you're just basic. That you really need to get out of your own headspace and you need to figure out who you are as a person, because once you do that, then you'll understand that you're unique. You're a different type of individual. You hold different things to different types of classes and values. So Joe Rogan is no different. Okay, he's not going to agree with everything that liberals agree with, just like he doesn't agree with everything conservatives agree with. Just, we need to stop thinking in these groups because they are just a part of the spectrum. And you as an individual and everybody else as an individual are going to lie somewhere, and you're always going to be switching back and forth. You're always going to be changing and evolving your views and stuff like that. There is no hard, concrete view on anything. And if you believe that, then you have lost your own internal war before it even started. You have to be open to new ideas. And I think that's where a lot of this problem is coming, and a lot of this race culture and this cancel culture and stuff like that. Well, you don't agree with what the mass group of liberals believe in. Well, how do you know that? How do you know what everyone believes in? Because the media told you? Maybe we're talking about the media, not so much what individuals think about. Let me see here. Explorer says, I'm so mad my candidate didn't win. Also, I'm so mad people are voting for my candidate. This needs to stop. It makes no sense. I agree with Explorer. This absolutely makes no sense. Just accept the endorsement, okay? He's a celebrity. He can push. You realize how many viewers Joe Rogan has? He has millions of viewers on his podcast. A lot of his viewers are conservative. Imagine that. So you don't want your message of Bernie Sanders going out to anybody other than liberals. This makes no sense. The Democrats are once again, and liberals on the Bernie campaign or the campaign side. Now, I haven't heard from Bernie Sanders and stuff. I believe that he likes this. And he has, I guess he has put out a commercial or some sort of advertisement for Joe Rogan's endorsement. And this is, there was actually something here. I don't know if this is what this is or not. Maybe this is what that ad is. He says, I'll vote for Bernie. Let me see if I can actually turn this up here real quick. Yeah, so that wasn't actually working. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I wasn't exactly prepared for this video. I apologize about that. You can see this is BernieSanders.com. This was his campaign, one of his campaign ads here, where he's using Joe Rogan's endorsement. And like I said, people are completely losing it over this. They're completely losing their minds over all this stuff. And honestly, it makes no sense. This guy says, "You're drunk, go home." He says, "Shocked to wait to find Joe Rogan is racist, transphobic, bigoted, and a white nationalist. What the F? Go home, Twitter. You're drunk, and Joe Rogan is a national treasure." I wouldn't go so far to say. I mean, whoever this person probably thinks that Joe Rogan is a national treasure. I think that I don't think that any one person can be really designated as a national treasure. I think that maybe Mother Teresa would probably become the closest to that. And Joe Rogan is a very funny person. He has a lot of good ideas. He has a lot of bad ideas, but he's also very open to certain things. That's why he has so many different people on his podcast. He talks to a lot of different about a lot of different ideas, and I think that's a really good thing. I think that the more that we stay in our own closets, the less light we're going to see, and the less good ideas we're going to be exposed to. So I thought that was kind of interesting to kind of look at that. Feel free to hashtag Joe Rogan to see all the fun that's going on right now on Twitter. Of course, it's exploding. So I'll see you in the next video, and hope you have a great day. See you in the next one. Bye.